Hola, 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 Bafetu are back again. This is Dibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel. It's still football from the first perspective. Yeah, after a very long time, yeah, we're back and yeah, we're still hoping that we can manage, to upload a record now and then. But yeah, it's a struggle, man. It's a very serious struggle. It's an issue of trying to settle in. But yeah, we are making progress. We're making progress in East Rand. And yeah, we are fine. We're doing very well. I would like to thank everyone that has been supporting the channel, that has been there for the channel, all the subscribers of the channel. I'd like to thank all of you for supporting this channel, for supporting Dibalen Football Channel. But yeah, today we speak about Kaizer Chiefs, of course, as always, and there are developments that we cannot ignore. The dismissal of Gavin Hunt on the 28th of May, meaning he's no longer our coach, and now, as of recent, there is an appointment of Mr. Molefi Ntseki. With a very strange position. I don't know what Kaizer Chiefs is trying to say. But before we get into Kaizer Chiefs, before we speak about Kaizer Chiefs, let's speak about this thing. We cannot forget this. I felt it is necessary to remind people that we are the Champions League champions right now, and this is Chelsea for you. And you know how I love Chelsea. All of you who follow me, who are friends of mine, and I follow, you know that I love Chelsea. You know that I'm a number one fan of Chelsea and Kaizer Chiefs. So the boys did it in a very nice manner, very interesting way. You beat the best coach in the world, so they say. Beat the best team in the world, so they say, and you win the biggest trophy in the world. And Champions League, in football competition, Champions League is the biggest trophy in the world. And that's it. The boys, young boys in Chelsea, brought in new boys from Germany, 2 new boys from Germany, 1 boy from not a boy, of course, a matured guy, Eduardo Mendy from France, and then originally from Africa. He's an African, Senegalese, and then an old guy called Thiago Silva, and the coach, a new coach, Thomas Tuchel, and the combination was so perfect. The performance by N'Golo Kante, but my favorite player in Chelsea, of course, is Kai Havertz. The goal came from him. The boy has been, a lot of people were starting to say he's a flop, him and Timo Werner and stuff like that. And surprisingly, the guy who's deemed to be a flop against Real Madrid was the one who gave us, that game. Timo Werner scored a goal, the first header, and the runs by Kai Havertz were just so marvelous. And Timo Werner as well, his runs, his opening of the spaces, he's the one who's responsible for the most of the goals that Chelsea scores. Timo Werner is responsible for them. He might not be providing assists, he might not be the one, shooting and stuff like that, but yeah, he might also be missing a lot of chances as well, but he's the one involved in many of these goals. And there's one thing that people don't want to appreciate in football is contribution made by players. One can be bad in this kind of development, department in terms of scoring goals, but can contribute the other way. Mason Mount, his assist to Kai Havertz also reminded me of the assist by Lampard to Ramirez, if you remember, in 2012 against Barcelona. Very good boy, development boy in Chelsea. Chelsea has a lot of development players that I think they contributed a lot to Chelsea winning Champions League for the second time. And you think you speak about Mason Mount, Reece James, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Abraham, development of Chelsea is just solid. Reminds me of Kaizer Chiefs. The development in Kaizer Chiefs is also solid, to be honest. We have players there that we can use, that are from development, that have carried the team, that have been with the team this season, and we need to give credit to them. Because in Pile Ngobo, Njabulo Blom, Ngizana, the boys fought for Kaizer Chiefs. Bruce Vuma as well, as of recent, has been fighting for the team. But the coach, Gavin Hunt, had to leave. First of all, his stats are very poor. Let's speak about his stats. 6 wins out of 28 games. That's very bad. 6 wins out of 12 losses, 10 draws. Out of 28 games, only 6 wins, 12 losses, 10 draws. It's just unacceptable. A coach who makes stats like that, who gives stats like that, he has to be let go. There is no, other way to go around it. No matter, even if it's Pep Guardiola, if Pep Guardiola could give out the stats, he has to leave. Even if we know that he's the best coach in the world, even if we know that he doesn't have the best team in the world, or he doesn't have, the team that he had to assemble by himself, he has to leave. Gavin Hunt has to leave. The stats are very bad. In 5 points, 5 points just above, the playoffs. The team Kaizer Chiefs, 5 points above. Away from the playoff position, from position number 15. So if we lose these games and the other teams win, we can find ourselves, Kaizer Chiefs can find itself playing playoffs, trying to avoid being relegated to NFD, and that's unacceptable. Any coach who gives stats like that, he has to leave. There's no justification whatsoever for Gavin Hunt to remain a coach of Kaizer Chiefs up until this point. The question is, why did they keep him to this point? I mean, these guys risked the team. This is the worst season ever. We're going to finish, if we win the last 2 games, which we're playing against Golden Arrows and then TS Galaxy, we're going to finish at points 36 points, which is unacceptable, which would be the lowest. Even Solinas did better, and no matter how much we love Gavin Hunt, no matter how much Gavin Hunt, his reputation, he has to leave. To be honest, he has to leave. The last 16 games, we only won 2, and then lost 6, draw 8, and last 16 games only won 2, and I think it was about time. In fact, the decision was supposed to have been taken a long time ago. But also, let's look into how the team played. As the past few games of Kaizer Chiefs, I was always busy doing something, and I could look at the lineup. Without watching the game, I could tell this is what is going to happen in this game. This is how these players are going to play, and this is what is going to happen. This is how Kaizer Chiefs is going to concede, and who are the players that are most likely to make mistakes. If we are going to score, this is the player that is most likely to score. And then I could come back, record a video without watching Kaizer Chiefs games, and I could tell you what happened in the game, and you would believe that I watched the game, because everything's so predictable. And if I could predict what was happening with Kaizer Chiefs, what could happen with Kaizer Chiefs, then just as an ordinary person, just as an ordinary supporter of the game, there are people like analysts of the clubs, the coaches of the clubs, the technical team of the club that is tasked to analyze the games and tell me it will be very easy to beat Kaizer Chiefs. That is why it has been easy to beat Kaizer Chiefs. The teams that are lowest in the law, they beat Kaizer Chiefs so easily, and that's unacceptable. You get Leopards, you give them a win. Maritzburg, you give them a win. Baroka a win. You can count all the small teams, all the teams that have been struggling this season. They managed to get 3 points plus against Kaizer Chiefs. That is unacceptable. Gavin Hunt had to leave. Not because of that. I mean, that's another thing. In the middle of the South, one of the people who said Gavin Hunt must be given a chance to sign his players and stuff like that. And I get to this point, in the middle of the season, I realize this guy, no, he has to leave for Kaizer Chiefs. He might be a good coach, but not good coach for Kaizer Chiefs. The brand of football has not improved as well. Yes, he brought in new players, young players, he gave them game time, gave them confidence, he pushed them, even though it was, one of the hardest seasons for Kaizer Chiefs. But the style of play, the way of play has not changed a bit. In fact, things have become worse. Compare Kaizer Chiefs with Ernst Middendorp and Kaizer Chiefs with Gavin Hunt, things have actually become worse. And has to leave, man. There's nothing in Kaizer Chiefs. There's nothing to play for. Back four cannot combine 4 passes amongst themselves. In the middle of the park, they can't combine 2-3 passes. Strikers can't make combinations and score a goal. That is unacceptable. When Kaizer Chiefs has the ball, that's the worst, position we need to find ourselves in. Whenever Kaizer Chiefs has the ball, that is our worst moment. Whenever Kaizer Chiefs has the ball under Gavin Hunt, it was our worst moment. Kaizer Chiefs played better without the ball, in fact. And that's unacceptable, man. We can't go to each and every game and hope to defend. That's why we won many of these big games. We won against Orlando Pirates, Mamelodi Sundowns, we were at Casablanca, we also won against Simba, because Kaizer Chiefs is very comfortable without the ball. It's very comfortable playing without the ball and can, exploit spaces behind the defense, can play, counter-attacks. And even those, man, it's just not convincing. It's high balls, it's crosses, stuff like that. There's nothing interesting. There was nothing interesting under Gavin Hunt. He had to leave. He's criminal. Gavin Hunt is criminal. I repeat it, and I said this, and people thought, you know what, you are just joking around. You can't have a coach that loses against all the small teams and then win against Mamelodi Sundowns, win against Orlando Pirates, and we think that will convince us. That's criminality. He's trying to defraud us. He's a man who's trying to defraud us. That no, this guy can do better, can do this and this and this and this and that. And yes, very good decision by Kaizer Chiefs that I think it should have came a while ago when we're still around 8 points, eight games left. You remember when I said that I think Kaizer Chiefs won't collect more than 7 points, where like 9 games left, 9 games left. And so far we have not even gotten to 5 points. So still got it right. And I think I'm going to be right going forward. But yeah, Arthur Zwane, Dylan Shepard, they are coaches right now. I'm hoping that the last 2 games can be a motivation. We can get 6 points, even if we don't get to top 8. But just don't go to relegation zone. We don't want to watch Kaizer Chiefs playing playoffs. That will be embarrassing for the country and for the world. But yeah, there's an appointment of Mr. Ntseki. Before we speak about the appointment of Mr. Ntseki, yeah, if you remember, there were players that were brought in by Gavin Hunt that were said to have signed pre-contracts with Kaizer Chiefs, Slanty, Nange, the keeper, Peterson, and stuff like that. I think those are professional players. They can still come back. I'm sure they will still come back in Kaizer Chiefs. I'm sure that the contracts that they signed with Kaizer Chiefs are still, standing. They will still come back and contribute with Kaizer Chiefs, and that could not be a problem. Otherwise, for Mr. Gavin Hunt, we thank you for taking us into the Champions League semi-final. That's the biggest achievement for Kaizer Chiefs. That's a historical one. No one can take that away from him. No one can take the fact that Gavin Hunt made historical inroads for Kaizer Chiefs as far as Champions League is concerned, and will forever be grateful for that. Other than that, the decision is well accepted. Now the appointment of Mr. Molefi Ntseki, I don't know. To be honest, he's said to be head of technical and youth development. First of all, he's more like a technical director of the team. And when I listened to Kaizer Motaung, the senior, Tate Kaizer Motaung, he said that sort of all the coaches from development until the senior coach, they will report to him. He's in charge, he's a technical director of some sort, head of technical, whatever you call it, from the development, in charge of recruitment, in charge of the transition of the players from the ranks, from the lower ranks to the higher ranks, also in charge of the first team prop. That's what it means, according to me, according to how I listened and heard that meant. So Molefi Ntseki is our coach. It's technically Molefi Ntseki is our coach, and someone asked me, how do we react to this? I don't know. To be honest, I can't react, I can't respond to this. I don't know why Kaizer Chiefs appointed Mr. Ntseki, who said that he has massive experience in development and stuff, but they said that even coaches in the first team report to him. So it's a huge concern. I don't know how to respond to this. I don't know how to respond to Mr. Molefi Ntseki's appointment. I just don't know, because Molefi Ntseki was the coach of Bafana. He was coaching with Arthur Zwane, and we know how Bafana did. And Molefi Ntseki is known for what? For winning many cups, for being very respectable, with a coach with a huge record of winning games and winning cups. Maybe that's what is known about Mr. Molefi Ntseki. I don't know what to say. Otherwise, I would like, to be honest, that is it from me. I'd like to hear from you. What do you think about the firing of Gavin Hunt? Obviously, for sure, you're all happy. But most importantly, what do you think about the appointment of Mr. Molefi Ntseki as our coach? That's what it means to me. They can say a lot of things about terms and all that, but Molefi Ntseki is our coach currently. It means our team is coached by Molefi Ntseki. And what do you think about that? Otherwise, from me, Dibalen Football Channel, Kaizer Chiefs Football Channel, it is love. And yeah, no peace at all.